Hi, I'm Paul Bowman, CEO at Wexer, the digital fitness specialist who deliver over 25 million fitness experiences per year for our partners worldwide. Welcome to the Wexer podcast, where I'll be speaking to industry experts to bring you insights and advice to support your business journeys. In today's episode, I'll be chatting with Len Fridman, CEO and co-founder of WellnessLiving, one of the leading business solutions SaaS platforms for health and wellness businesses. Len, how are you? I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, Paul, this has been awesome. I'm so excited to be part of this. I'm really looking forward to it. I know you got some questions lined up for me, and I'm ready to go here.
We're going to go quick fire. Let's do this. So, let's take it background first. I usually ask the same question, which listeners always appreciate: is did fitness find you, or did you find fitness? Give us a little feeling into that background of yours.
Oh wow, okay, very cool. So, I guess we found each other.
It was a marriage.
Yeah. So growing up, I was a competitive tennis player growing up. So I spent my youth really on the tennis court. I was a rail of a kid. Like, I was very scrawny. I was tall, and I think 6'2", 145 pounds. And I remember sort of the first time I ever picked up a weight, I was probably 18. And I remember one of my friends, they were into working out, and another one of my friends goes, "Len, this is not for you. You're not gonna like this. You're a skinny kid. You're always gonna be skinny. Like this is just the way you are, right?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't buy that, and I'm gonna work out, and because I love the feeling that I'm getting, and I'm gonna show you, right?
You'll be the next Arnie."
So I think, yeah. So I guess that kind of sparked me when someone says you can't do something, and it kind of, I think that first year you get the newbie gains, and I think I gained like 25 pounds of muscle.
Nice.
That first year, and then I kind of, it kind of became a habit for me to go to the gym and lift some weights and just release all those endorphins and you
got the bug,
fitness. Yeah. So that's kind of how I started, and then I guess we can transition kind of how it became my profession.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember this was like 2009, and I was working for a publicly traded medical imaging software company in senior management, and the company went through some restructuring, and unfortunately, I was let go.
Okay.
And this was
worst mistake they ever made.
Well, that was the best thing ever happened.
Best thing for the industry, our industry at least.
Yeah. And I remember, there was a very pivotal moment in my life where I kind of evaluated. And at the time, I was married, and I had 2 kids and all of that. And I had to make a decision, like, what was I going to do with myself? Like, I could go back into sort of corporate life, and it was a software company, and I loved what I was doing, and it was mission critical software for helping people. I could go back and just do software, or I could pursue my passion, which I was always into training and working out, and I watched some of my friends like help them transform their bodies through improving their diet and working out and all of that. So I kind of said, well, what should I do at this point? I could go back to corporate, or I could, pursue my passion. And I chose to pursue my passion. And I basically started an outdoor boot camp out in my neighborhood park. I threw up a Facebook ad and, got 25 people to sign up to my neighborhood boot camp. It was outdoors, and at the time, this was early on in the Groupon days. Okay. And Groupon kind of reached out, and then I launched this massive Groupon campaign. I hired a bunch of instructors in my city in Toronto. I started there. Super successful. It was one of the largest fitness deals at the time in Toronto. Yes. And then I expanded that into different cities all across Canada. Right. And one I was actually in Toronto, Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, and then Miami as well.
How many trainers were you managing at the peak?
Upwards of more than 20.
Right. Okay. So decent.
Yeah, more than 20. Yeah. And
these were just parks, like, local parks, or
these were just out in the
parks. Minimal gear.
There was some trainers brought some gear, like pylons and things like that. Yes. We kind of like to mix things up a bit, so we brought some pads, some punching pads and things like that, and we do that. And but it was one of the largest outdoor boot camp program in Canada. Well done. Bar none. We had thousands and thousands of folks that came out. And the interesting part was obviously I needed software to manage all this, right? So I started using the software that was available at the time. Sure everyone knows, MindBody, it was really the only software that was available. And I started using that. And then I came up with this idea. Hey, look, I'm running these campaigns on Groupon, on social media. My boot camps are exploding. This is phenomenal. And I could maybe partner up with various other fitness studios, because some of the clients actually, they were a member of a yoga studio and they wanted to change things up. They wanted to change things up and do some boot camp classes. There were other ones doing spinning. They wanted to, try different classes. And I thought, this is great. Like I have a lot of friends that own fitness studios, CrossFit gyms, and so forth. Why don't we go in on a deal together and offer a discovery pass? And we did that.
Well, this was before ClassPass, I imagine.
Oh, this is way before ClassPass. Yeah. And so it was just it just exploded. And we basically had about 40 participating studios or locations in any given city. Right. So it was kind of like a combination of my boot camps, the boot camp locations, plus all of these other sort of partner studios that we had. And Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, Miami. And it just was absolutely monstrous.
So it was I understand the software, but where was the big moment where you said, okay, I've got to drop the boot camp to run, Wellness Living full time?
Yeah. So that was another sort of interesting moment where I think the first year of the boot camps with the pass, I basically stopped the boot camp because, just managing all the instructors and everything like that, it's
I imagine a lot of our listeners understand how painful that is.
Yeah. And I actually met my future business partner that early that year, like 2010, and we actually scaled that sort of ClassPass model to 73 cities and 2,500 participating studios. We sold upwards of I like to say 500,000 passes.
Wow. Okay. Yes, he did well. Yeah. It was a decent scale.
Yeah. So we definitely scaled. And what was happening was we were literally we have a support center out in the Philippines that were handling all the, how do I book my classes? How do I manage all this? And we were literally getting hundreds and hundreds of emails a day, right? And
you're developing this all on the fly. You had no background in technology at all.
Oh no, I worked at a software company.
Of course. Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I worked in a software company, but at the time we were using MindBody.
Yes.
So, I spoke to the folks over there. I explained them, hey, this is my business model. This is how I'm using the system.
Okay.
And I was actually, referring a bunch of businesses over there, but that's besides the point. Because at the time, I think MindBody had about 12,000 studios back in 2010, somewhere in that range. I'm not exactly sure, but I had 2,500.
Okay.
And and we were using them, and we would constantly get into sort of these discussions about pricing and things like that, where we would agree on our price, and a couple of months later, I get a call, Len, you're using too much bandwidth.
Okay.
We're going to have to increase your rate. And there was a lot of back and forth. And finally, one day, it was a situation where I got a call, and I was with my family out in the park, and I got a call, Len, I'm sorry, but we're going to have to shut you down,
right?
Unless we renegotiate your agreement again,
right?
And that was really a pivotal sort of moment. And I said, we can't. I went to my partner. We can't operate like this. This is not right. And it's time that we look for another option. And we decided really to kind of utilize my software background skills that I worked with, and we got a great development team to build out a very basic booking platform.
And so the original use case for Wellness Living was for you. It wasn't actually for a scalable solution for the rest of the industry.
No, it was for us to manage sort of the class pass type of a model, the discovery pass. Yes. And it was very simple. It just allowed clients to, redeem their Groupon voucher, or their membership, and start booking classes at the various studios. And there was 2,500 of them. So we released that. It took us about 6 months or so to build this basic booking platform, and then migrate all those active users, because remember, we had an active business running pretty decent size scale, and we had to migrate all those users, all those members over. And then we started getting calls from our partner studios, the businesses that were participating in this discovery pass. They were saying, hey, Len, this is so easy. Can you guys do merchant processing? Can we sell memberships? Can we do different types of reporting? Can we do rewards? Can we do email marketing? Okay. And I'm like, no, like that's not what we do. Cool. We help you fill up your classes and help you, take those leads and convert them into members. We're like a marketing company for you. That's all we do. And then eventually it got to the point where, literally we got hundreds of these businesses saying, look, Len, like we build this for us. We will pay you. We'll pay you for this. So we went and we kind of sat behind the front desk in various studios here in Toronto and kind of said, hey, show us how you're using the software that you're currently on right now. And they're, pulling up all these windows, different apps, and it was all disjointed. And we're like, okay, this is what we got to do.
Nice.
And that was the turning point. Was really 2013. Okay. We basically decided, okay, we're gonna start with the build out. Took us 2 years before we were ready to kind of commercialize. And we basically bootstrapped the business till that point.
Congrats.
And just the last couple of years, we actually, were awarded the Deloitte Fast 500, Fast 50 winners.
Congratulations.
The fastest growing software company in North America. One of the.
And so, like for you, changing, where was the moment where you went from, I guess, club operator to, CEO of Wellness Living, I guess, or do you still wear two different hats?
No. So I'm that other business, the Discovery Pass, is we kind of sunset that business. Okay. So I'm all in on Wellness Living. Nice. This is I'm obviously super passionate
I can see
about.
that.
I get excited anytime I get to talk about it. I'm just like you. You know, I have a huge grin on my face anytime I have an opportunity to talk about.
Hey,
what
we work in a great industry doing great things, right? So there's a lot to smile for. I think we've got it. Some people forget that. So let's go to the nitty gritty, because I'm sure a lot of our listeners want to kind of pick your brain. So what do you feel? What do you feel are the common challenges gyms are experiencing in regards to implementing business software today?
Yeah. Well, I think from an implementation standpoint, it's really the fear of change.
Right.
Right? Business owners really feel like, hey, I've been doing X for so many years. I have a whole bunch of data.
Sure.
How on earth am I ever going to transition to a new software that might even is a transition worth it?
Yeah.
Is it, all the time and effort? I have to retrain my staff. So that is probably the biggest apprehension that business owners have is that fear of change.
Yeah.
And I mean, for us, I mean, you can imagine early on,
yes,
we had that same fear,
yes,
right?
Yeah.
Here we have this business, right? But in order to move to the next stage in the evolution of your business, you really have to make that sort of decision. Hey, I'm going to move to if you're pen and paper, you absolutely have to move to a software.
Yeah.
It's unless you're happy with what the level of growth that you currently have,
yes.
and you're not interested in scaling, you're not interested in that. So there is a portion of the market that are like that. But for others who are on pen and paper or on other antiquated softwares or different softwares that may not be serving them as well as they should,
yes.
It's a big decision for them to go and make that switch. We do that, hundreds of times a month for businesses. We have a whole process that, there's a dedicated onboarding agent that helps with that transition as far as training goes and all that. It's really, we like to call it like a white glove onboarding where we really care. We've done this thousands and thousands of times. Yeah.
We always take a view, and I don't think putting digital fitness in creation of content is probably as hard as changing a CRM system. But we're always relating it back to the business goals, like of the actual enterprise, and saying this is why you're doing it, because it does get hard. I imagine there's a lot of those conversations that happen in terms of senior leadership when they're making those changes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, and it's the heart, it's the operating system of the business. Without the software, it just, you don't have a business.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So it is a very, very, it's one of those sort of fundamental business decisions that, and it's a partnership, right? You have to, there's a level of trust and partnership that, hey, this is the right move, and you're with a software company that we like to call ourselves a software company with a heart, because we care.
Yes.
We genuinely care.
Don't all Canadians care? I don't think I've ever met a Canadian that doesn't care anyway. There's a lot of good people in Canada. There you go.
That's for sure.
And look, data is one of those things that gets talked about so much, but I feel like so underutilized. I know you guys do a great job in terms of helping clubs and people that you serve manage data and insights. But what would be your three kind of major takeaways to predominantly senior leadership groups who are listening to this podcast? So what would be your takeaways that you would give them advice for?
For data,
I guess turning data into actionable, insights.
Yeah, I mean it's the future and it's now, right? And I'll give you a really cool example of something that we've implemented recently with that does that. So one of the biggest challenges for any fitness organization is member churn. Sure. Right? Member not continuing the following month, right? That's, if you have a leaky bucket, it doesn't matter if you fill it with water, So our challenge was, how can we leverage data and AI and machine learning to help businesses manage churn better and more efficiently? So we actually worked with the machine learning lab here the actual York University. It's located here in Toronto. Okay. And we developed something called Isaac.
Nice.
And what it does is it actually goes through thousands of data points and actually predicts which members have a high probability of churning the following month.
Yeah.
And then you can do what you can do is create automations. Yeah. So it could be text or email or push notifications that'll automatically try to re-engage with those members. Yeah. Or the best way is calling them, right? Is just pulling up a report and saying, hey, these are the members that have a high probability of churning. We recommend that you reach out to them, right? And sometimes just having that one-on-one conversation and reach, with a phone or bring them, try to get them back in there, it is so important.
Yeah.
And it all comes back to data, right? And leveraging, machine learning and AI to try to solve a business problem.
Yeah. And has that been your best cases, I guess, when you've been using Isaac and then people have actually been on the phones trying to build a relationship back to staying with us in the gyms?
It's phones, but it's also the email, all the email and text message. Text messaging has been like a real, it's been transformative for many businesses. Just having that ability.
Yeah.
And we have a two-way text message functionality. Yes. So it's basically like Isaac it'll pull up the list.
Yes.
An automated text notification will go out to all of those members that are a high risk. Those members then can actually, text back to that number, and then you can assign your staff to members and have conversations back and forth
like that.
So that has really been transformative. We've seen businesses reduce churn by like 30%.
That's huge.
And that has a direct correlation to increased revenue.
Of course,
right?
Of course. And increased LTV. No, I like the sound of Isaac. I think a few other people. When did that launch? Len?
That was a couple of years ago.
Okay.
And so and it's funny because we launched it right before COVID.
Right. Okay.
And then because it's a machine learning algorithm, right? So what happened was during COVID, it just started spewing wrong predictions, right? It was like
it couldn't cope with a pandemic. One in a
it's like no one's showing up to class. What's going on?
Everyone's at risk. I would have loved to see
everyone's at risk, right?
And how? Well, and you kind of mentioned it about Isaac and AI, but how do you see the future playing out in terms of data and processing? Because there are a lot of clubs I speak to, they don't know how this game plays out. In terms of what they need to do. Of course, a lot of clubs are getting a lot smarter because a lot of suppliers are getting a lot smarter in regards to understanding that user a lot better in terms of how to hold their attention, I guess, or make sure that they're trying to achieve outcomes, I guess, which is the key to our industry. But how do you see it playing out in terms of AI and data and for the future of our industry?
Look, we're going to keep coming up with applications of AI in our industry. We're going to get more and more creative. There's going to be more and more applications. Like dynamic pricing is another example where that's going to be really, really key, I think. But even AI is super powerful, but even having the data at your fingertips and having a dashboard that you can configure and really have those, because a lot of businesses are very similar, but some are unique and they want to track certain things. Yes. So being able to have a custom dashboard that you can quickly see trends in your business, so you can make important business decisions.
Yes.
Super, super vital. So that was one of the things that we're really kind of, I guess, famous for, is just having that ability to customize the dashboard and having any kind of graphs or any statistics that you can actually drill down to. A lot of folks, what they do is they just have this pretty looking graph and it shows some stats. But if you want to drill down, you're gonna have to pull another report, then you're gonna have to create filters and do all of this stuff.
Too much friction.
All of our dashboards are interactive. Okay. So literally, like if you're interested in seeing, if there's a graph of how many sales happened yesterday, well, you want to see what those sales are. Well, you just click the graph, and then boom, you'll see a breakdown of who bought what and everything. Yeah. And then you can act on that, right? So if you want to send ad hoc a text message to them all, just thanking them, hey, thanks for your purchase yesterday. Come to class or whatever you want to do. You can easily do that right from within the reporting infrastructure that we built out.
And you've got a background outside of fitness as well, and we've been amazed as we've been working with other partners, especially in the telco space, about how they use data. Like even they would not understand if someone's using a title for a certain period and then they've got actionable outcomes that go off that, i.e. notifying them that they've got to finish that, or, hey, also try this based off their recommendations. It's just amazing the data set that they have, even in fitness, but on a telco system, because they're kind of taking the entertainment model and trying to apply it to fitness, which actually correlates quite well. Like, I guess, what are you seeing the big things that will shape, I guess, the adoption of data within our industry?
It's really become mandatory.
Yeah.
It's something that if the more you grow your business, and if you want to continue scaling your business, you really have to have a firm grasp on your members, on their, which products they're buying, what classes they're taking, so you can make educated business decisions, right? It's so vital, because if you have thousands upon thousands of members and you want to send out targeted email campaigns, for example, you got to make sure that you segment your market so you could do that. And you really need data integrity is absolutely vital for you to be able to do that. So it becomes more important as you scale your business. If you have 50 or so clients, it's not that important because everybody by name.
Yeah, agreed.
Most likely.
Yeah, of course. Yes,
right.
But I think most people listening are planning on scaling their business a lot bigger than that, so they need actionable data.
Yeah.
What have you seen change since kind of the omni-channel side of things have come? So member experience evolving to more of an omni-channel view. What have you seen from your perspective?
I mean, I think it's been accelerated to obviously COVID accelerated the adoption of that, and I think the businesses that are successful are really utilizing that as an additional revenue stream. And so it's really amazing to see the adoption of that and continued usage of it, even despite the fact that folks are coming back to brick and mortar locations and taking classes. So it just really gives that member experience where they could do that anywhere, at home or in their own time. If they're on vacation, there's still that connection to their studio. So and I think businesses are seeing the real value to that.
Well, we find it amazing where people have purchased maybe on a regular Tuesday and Friday they go to a class, and the ability to go to that class physically but also go to that class digitally, and the adherence is still huge. Even though they might be traveling around the world, they'll still make time to be able to do that. So it's just we're seeing the consumer, I guess, force the omni-channel. And I know we're biased from a Wexer point of view because it's our whole business, but it's just amazing to see the users change in terms of how they do it. They still see it as, doesn't matter if I'm in the club or if I'm outside the club, I'm still going to do it. And I'll make time in my calendar, because if it's in my calendar, I'm going to do it. So
that's right.
It totally makes sense. Okay, so and then for you, I feel like I could talk to you forever. But we've been asking this question, because I think it's important that we talk about it more in terms of mental health and well-being. Like, do you think we're doing enough as an industry to support mental health and well-being?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think as an industry, I think we could do more.
Yeah.
I think it's become more and more of an issue because of people feel isolated. There's more and more people working at home, for example, right? And there's this sense of isolation, and when there's a sense of isolation, there's more and more mental health problems evolve from that. And I think as an industry, I think we definitely have to do more. And fitness and class-based, that's predominantly what we do. I think it's absolutely imperative bringing that connection with people, and kind of that in-person connection. And if you can't do that, some connection like with it is absolutely imperative. Just internally within our company, we have a lot of remote workers, and we make it I don't say a definitive requirement. We try in many cases to kind of make it a requirement. Hey, at least turn your camera on.
Yeah, agreed.
Right. So we can.
Actually, you can be a rapport. Yeah, and well, I actually spoke with Amy Thompson, podcast to come out soon. She was talking about how much they're spending some time actually training. Well, you've been on the operations side. It's amazing the relationships you can build, and how you kind of in a way become like a maybe a mental health advocate, because you're the fitness guy. So we need to take that responsibility on as an industry, right? And make sure that, I guess, the people that are delivering actually have the tools to support that, and we all can do our best. So I like the insights. And then moving towards the predictions for the future of fitness, like what would you say are the big topics that you're looking at?
I mean, for us, it's really about digitizing fitness, digitizing sort of like the member experience, making that member experience as seamless as possible for the gym goer, as far as like booking and membership management and things of that nature. And really, what we're finding, and this is some good statistics, we're finding like in the boutique fitness, which is where the sort of like the market that we serve, we're seeing a resurgence. What we do is we measure merchant processing volume, since we're the credit card, we're the processor, I guess. Even though we process payment. So we keep track of volume,
right? And
what we found is that we're up, like the industry in general, the boutique fitness industry is doing better now than pre-COVID.
Nice. It's what we like to hear.
So, yeah, I mean, so the future is really more and more that industry is vibrant. Nice. It's growing. And I think it's needed more than ever. Because
that statistic would actually be, because I imagine the amount of clubs that you're serving is slightly less because they've come. So people are actually just doing more volumes at the clubs that there are, right? So that statistic's a huge statistic.
Yeah, I mean, we through COVID there definitely was some club closures, like there was just given the circumstances, but now we're seeing more and more clubs opening up.
Nice. Okay.
And we definitely see I like just looking at the stats, it's a resurgence. Nice. yeah, I mean, it's really amazing. I think people are feeling that need to connect to a community.
Yes. Yeah.
And once they experience that connection within a community, it becomes addictive.
Totally.
Right. It's it's one of those things that it's pretty incredible. And I think that need for a community is really one of the things that's spurring this resurgence in the boutique fitness industry.
Yeah, well, and as you said before, in terms of, I think there was a record amount of loneliness now, and fitness can play a great part in terms of that third space. If you are working from home and then you've got that ability to go exercise and express yourself in a really positive way. So, yeah, no, okay, well, I like that stat. So then Len, look, how do people get in contact with you in terms of if they've got questions that they want to fire at you? Be careful, because there was one person that gave out all their personal numbers and got about 100 emails and a few text messages. So,
okay. Well, if you want me personally, LinkedIn is a great place. So you can find me on LinkedIn. It's Len Fridman. Just search me up there. But if you're interested in our software, check out our website, www.wellnessliving.com. Get a demo. Just see what we're all about. Fill out the demo request form. I know that every month we have a promotion that's running. Check what promotion is running on any given month. Take advantage of it, get a demo. I can share another stat with you. Anyone that gets the demo, we have an over 65% conversion rate.
There you go.
On the demo. So the likelihood that you sign up is pretty high.
Yeah.
So definitely check it out. We got an amazing, absolutely. I can't speak to the enough about the incredible team that we have at the company. We have upwards of 375 folks that are absolutely as passionate about what they do as I am, and that gets me excited. And we're here to serve the community. Help you guys get folks healthy and happy. That's what we do here.
Let's do it, Len. I appreciate everything you do for this industry, and look, it's been great having you on. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for the opportunity. It was a great chat, and we'll do it again.
I'm sure there'll be a take two.
Yeah.
Cheers, Len.
All right.